Hello, hello. Welcome to the show every weekday at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Awakening your spiritual gifts. Again, it's always one of my favorite times of day. So we are going to, I'm just pulling up, I've got a question I'm going to lean into first. And then I also, if you're new to the show or if you're a regular, at the beginning of the show, what I like to do is to look at the daily energy, or the energy, like reading the daily energy of what's going on around us, and it's just part of like for the collective. And the way that I do this is through oh goodness, it was probably 12 or 13 years ago when I started to develop this ability to see light and energy with my physical eyes. And then after a long time of learning the language of it and just how to understand what I'm seeing, then I've kind of been leaning into like if I see the energy, what does it remind me of, and the symbolism. And so I'll just kind of like do a whole read of what the energy says for the day. So let me start by doing that, and then I will go into a question. Now, if you feel free to leave any of your questions, comments, anything that's coming up. If you want me to take a look for you today, well, we are welcome to drop a comment or question below, and I will get to you or get to as many as I can today. So let's get going here. Okay, so the daily energy. While the little countdown was going, I did take a peek at it a little bit earlier, and what I was seeing is it kind of reminded me. Well, every single day, when we start to look at these every single day, it's like you can almost see the whole flow of what the energy is doing. And I haven't checked what was going on the last couple days, just based, I think it was on Friday. I saw a little bit of like this angelic, it felt like singing almost. And so I saw that energy coming in. So this is an extension of this. I don't know what happened over the weekend to shift it a little bit. The coloring has switched a little bit to like a light blue, kind of an iridescent bluish mix with kind of the lighter and the golds. And when I look at like the ground here, there's the energy on the side that's that kind of bluish color. It comes in and kind of swoops underneath. And it was, we've experienced some of this energy before where it kind of came up and it was up in the ground. It was like uprooting things, where it was like a garden tiller and it was kind of like uprooting the ground. This energy is not like that, although the pattern looks similar. It has a different frequency, has a different feel, and a different fluid motion to it. And it is very fluid, but it also is kind of a constant pressure. And the only, the symbolism here that I could kind of be able to explain is that it reminds me of a wing, like a mother hen who has all of her little baby chicks, and she's trying to get her baby chicks to move. And so she kind of sends her wing under and is like, okay, come on, and like leading them and kind of pushing them in the direction that she wants them to go. And it's not like super forceful or anything yucky. It's just very loving, but no, we're going, come on, we're going over here. Nope, you can't go over there. I almost can see, because we're the ones on the ground. So we're the ones feeling some of this movement energy. And I can almost see like as a child, sometimes I might go like, no, I don't want to go. No, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And then there's some kids are like, fine, I'll go. But they're kind of getting pushed along here. So that's the energy is pushing us. And then I can see different reactions to that energy. So some people are a little more resistant. Some are a little more like, all right, I'll go. Some are more curious, like, okay, let's go. Where are we going to go to? What's next? So I just see the different reactions with that. So in order to, it really does feel more like a divine feminine, kind of like a motherly type energy, like I love you, but we're going to move. So it's soft and lovely. So for what that could mean for you is that you might be picking up some impressions, that you've got some steps to take, or even just like starting to pick up a little bit of flow. if you may want to actually like check in and kind of evaluate where you're at. Do you have any resistance or pushback to any movement or changing things up a little bit? And if you do, kind of evaluate it and see if there's something that you could maybe surrender or let go of, or be able to be more curious to make the movement easier and not feel the pushback of the resistance, because that energy is moving you no matter what. So it just helps if you if you go with the flow instead of against it. So I'm really curious, you guys picking up on any of that feeling? I always love to hear. Kind of a fun one. I'm going to totally be pondering on that a little bit later today and be like, what is this? What does this mean? And how can I love seeing the like the different reactions with people, and how can we go with, I love to see even just like how we can work with it instead of going against it, if that's the general energy around. So, all righty, let's go to, I have got a general read that messaged in, and this one is for Shelly. So I'm going to start with that. And again, you guys can totally ask questions or comments in if you are here on the live. Okay, so Shelly, this is for you. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so one of the first things that comes up, you may be going through a time where I'm seeing your eyes kind of like looking down and kind of like, well, what am I supposed to be doing? So feeling a little bit directionless, and also feeling a bit, I want to say the word invisible. Like maybe you're feeling like somebody isn't seeing you right now, or maybe lots of people, like you're just not being visible, seen. Maybe you're this could be even emotionally, or your thoughts and ideas, but there's some area where you just don't feel like whatever you express, or as you're expressing who you are, people are not responding as much, and making you feel seen and heard. So one of the first things I want to say is I see you and I hear you, and I know that there are people around, and of course we have a loving God, and we have all kinds of like armies of angels on the other side to support you, and you're never alone, and you're never invisible. And I know, like, over the last several years, I always love you. I always love our interactions, and you've blessed my life. So just wanted to let you know that. And then also I see some energy in your heart, which is really beautiful. But it's wanting to expand out of your arms. So it's kind of like trickling up, and it's like, how do I serve? Like, what do I want to do? Like, I can see just kind of this desire growing to serve and to help everyone, or to help others, not everyone, but like you want to be useful and serve and help others. And so I would start to, even if you have not brought awareness to that yet, I would totally start listening to that heart. Who is it that you're wanting to serve, and how are you wanting to serve? That is just an extension of your love and your purpose and what you bring to this planet. So definitely follow that heart and listen to the heart and see where you can serve others. So anyway, let me know on that one. I hope that helps. All righty. Let's see. Okay, we've got another one. And again, if you are on the live, feel free to comment or ask a question. I'm just going to kind of go through a couple of these that I have from being emailed in. Okay, we're going to go to Karissa. Hi, Karissa. Again, you just asked for a general reading. So let's see what comes up for you today, Karissa. Okay, hold on. There's a few energies coming in all at once. So I'm just going to see here. Okay, let's see. Oh, hi, Karissa. You're on live. And hi, Stacy. Hi, Felicia. Oh, you guys, I love comments. Yes, please say hi. In fact, if you're watching, even tell me where you guys are watching from. It's been really fascinating to see this because we have an international audience. So sometimes we get people from all over the world. So I would love to know where you are watching from. We are streaming to our YouTube, and we have a couple pages. Sometimes we stream to groups. So we do stream in lots of different places at times. And so that's a really fun thing. So, okay, Karissa. So what I'm seeing is, goodness, your energy is really fast, and it's like, here, just do blah, 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 like it's telling me lots of things. So hold on one second. Okay. Okay, so one of the first things I see is your really active mind. So I see a lot of, it's almost like you have a lot of ideas. You like to learn. You like to just, and then I also see a direct connection to your mouth. Like learn it, share it, learn it, share it. Hey, I want to know what you guys are thinking. Like I just see activity that is just very quick, and from those two areas. And so I am seeing that you probably have some gifts of speaking or teaching or something where it's important for you to use that voice to help and to speak to others. But I'm also seeing it's like a beautiful, even like excitement. The energy kind of reminds me of like a um, sometimes when like I'm thinking of one of my kids may learn something new, and like, oh my gosh, did you hear about this, blah blah blah. Like it's just beautiful excitement energy, and it's important to share it because you do have that some kind of gift through your mouth and through expression there. But I'm seeing that perhaps right now you're feeling somewhat of a disconnect there, where it's like either you felt like you did try to talk or share a bunch of things, and it didn't get received, like you didn't have the exchange and the people didn't react or respond like you were hoping they would, or maybe you didn't have the success that you wanted with something. And so it feels a little bit of like you've pulled it back a little bit, but it's like the desires are still there in the head, but then the throat one is just a little bit more reserved and kind of pulling back in. And I also just want to say too that doesn't necessarily always mean that it's going to be bad, or that you don't have value in your voice, or you should give up or anything like that. I could see how that could possibly feel a little discouraging, um, and make you question some of the things that you're wanting to do. But it also can be part of the natural ebb and flow that is a beautiful teacher for us, right? So if you were always on and always going, like there's always the flow and always the ease, then you may not have the opportunity to sit back and to develop another part of your gifts or skills. And so that kind of that pulling back in to kind of evaluate, it helps bring clarity. It builds the desires of your heart. So if you're not feeling like you're fulfilling something that you're here to do, it's going to start building up that intensity in your heart. You're going to be like, it's growing, it's growing, it's growing. And then it's going to just come out even more because you can't help it because it's just building so much in your heart. So if you're feeling some of that pulling back energy, see how it can serve you. How can there be gifts in it? What additional clarity pieces can it bring? And when I say clarity, I don't mean like clarity, oh, it comes so easily. Like, oh, there's boop, boop, pop in my head. Sometimes we get clarity with like fighting for what we want. Like because this isn't what we want, then we want to just kind of go, like we just want to like work harder at it and kind of fight for it. So I would just kind of take a little look in within and see what it is your heart is saying. What are you wanting to do? And then also perhaps it's just a matter of stepping into it. I remember I had an experience once, and I won't go into it because it might take too long. I won't go in depth in it. But I had this experience once where it was like I had a desire to teach and speak and to be a leader in like there was like this place that I was, and I just felt like I was just kind of pushed down. And I know that people didn't mean to push me down, but it was kind of irritating me. And it was like, no, like I'm not meant to just be shoved down and tucked in a corner. And it was just like really bothering me. And so I was doing a lot of praying and journaling on it. And I came across something, and I read it, and it said something about having the opportunity to like place yourself as a leader. But that phrasing really stood out to me, that like, here I was, if I have any kind of leadership qualities and a desire to speak and teach and do all those things, if I'm just sitting there and not speaking up, someone's not going to know. They're not going to read my mind, and they're not going to immediately just go, oh, let's have Martina do something. It's important for you to place yourself as a leader, to speak into it, to offer, to do things first, to just be like, like for me, it was like, okay, I'm just going to teach a class, or I'm just going to call someone up and ask to speak or volunteer or whatever. And so I feel like there might be something there for you. It's like people don't just automatically invite. Sometimes you have to place yourself as that. So let me know how that resonated, my dear. Okay, love it. Okay, I'm seeing all these locations of where you're watching from. Love it, love it. Okay, let's see. Let's go to, we have a live question here. Abantika. Oh, that's such a cool name. Abantika Das. Very cool name. All right. Would love an insight on my spiritual gifts. Since I changed my career path, things seem to have become stronger. Oh, that is so cool. I love that. Yeah, let's see what's going on with your spiritual gift and spiritual gifts and see what's been opening. Okay, I'm really curious about your career path change, because I'm seeing that part of the unlocking was not necessarily the career change. Something about it, it feels connected to confidence. Like maybe you had an increase in confidence, and so then that led you to being able to trust yourself more, trust in your abilities, trust in your intuition and your gifts. I'm also seeing, I want to say like a loved one or something that's passed on to the other side. It's like I'm seeing one in particular, but you definitely have a couple different loved ones. It's like these loved ones that, have gone on to the other side. And it's like, I just see them right there, really invested in what you're creating in your life, what you're doing. They're sending you love. It's like you got like a little support team that's even, they're very much invested in helping to like make things happen at the right time and the right way. Like they're working on the other side for your good and making things making things happen. So all of a sudden it's like, if you're working in one area and then you're like, oh, this other thing happened over here, it's probably because they were over here working on this, and this other one was over here working on this while you worked on this thing in the middle. And so it's like, wow, all these things are happening, but it's because you've got this little team going with you, which is really, really cool. And then, okay, let's see. Oh, your own business. Very cool. Yeah. So that totally would go along with, here we go. I quit my job and started my own business. So yeah, that totally goes along with like your strengthening your confidence. And it's just, I just really just keep seeing strongly like this little team of little angels and loved ones on the other side, just really invested in what you're doing and what you're creating and your progression and what you're evolving into. So definitely, keep trusting yourself, and and just keep going confidently, knowing that you've got forces on the other side that are supporting you as well. So very cool. Very, very cool. And your spiritual gifts are going to just keep enhancing. I actually wouldn't doubt if, like I'm seeing, especially with how much they're coming in near you, I definitely could see maybe you would have some enhanced hearing, being able to hear them. I'm also gathering you also probably have some of this claircognizant or the clear knowing. And that's just where you just know things and you don't know how you know it, but it's like, or even sometimes somebody might tell you something and then you're like, oh, I knew that, but like, how did you know it? You didn't have actually somebody tell you. It's just like information just drops into your head. So that's pretty cool. And if this goes right to with, I don't know if you've taken our quiz. We do have a quiz that goes through. You can identify one of the top 4 out of the 10 spiritual senses that we have. And then after you take the quiz too, you're even given the opportunity. We have a whole training there. Actually, you can actually go right here too. Well, I would just start with the quiz. That's always fun. There's a training there though that you can watch, and it goes through it's like an hour long, and it goes through intuitive personality types and then all 10 of the spiritual senses. And one of the best ways for all of us to develop our spiritual gifts and our spent senses is to first really lean into what we were divinely given and work with what you have. And then once you know how to use that well, then other ones start to open up. So if you want to fast track your progress, then really own what you were given. Like sometimes I see people almost like, oh, I really want, I don't know why, but this is like a common question. Everybody wants to see auras. Like, I want to learn to see auras. And then sometimes people really struggle doing it. And they're like, oh, I'm just such a failure. I'm not gifted. And I'm like, well, why do you want to see auras? What's the purpose? What if you have, is it for a discernment tool? But what if you have like extremely gifted ears and you can hear when something isn't right or true? Or what if you've got the knowing where things just pop in your head? That's super fast. That's faster than even seeing something. So it's definitely good to just lean into what you have first. Not that you can't see auras, but I would, if you've got one of these other ones, you got to lean into what you got. And then it's like almost easier to open up to the other ones. But then usually what happens is people go, well, I don't need to anyway. My natural abilities are the fastest route for me to get information. So that's really cool. Good. I'm glad that helped. Yay. Love it. Okay. Thanks for asking the questions. Yep. Start with what we have. Okay. Thank you for asking the question. All right. And Karissa, I'm so glad you liked yours. You're so welcome. You're a bright light, and you've got you got some important things to say. So I'm really, really super grateful that you are in the intuition gym. Super excited. There's going to be some opportunities here coming up this year that for things. And I'm like, I wonder if you might be interested in doing some of what I'm thinking because of your ability to speak and your engagement. You're really good at that. All right. So go ahead and if you got any other questions or comments for me, feel free to put them here. And okay, so I got the questions. If you have not, we have this the last week, or was it last week? Oh my goodness, my days are blending. But we did have a free webinar on how to navigate the challenges of an awakening, and we now have that up and available. So even if you missed it, you can still watch it. You can just go to the intuitiongym.com/awakening and watch that. That's a really valuable one to watch because of just where we're at in our planetary evolvement, our evolution, our planetary, like our spiritual evolution, our individual evolution, like there's cycles within cycles. And it's so good to understand. We go through what I call the cycle of ascension. So if you're interested in that, totally go there and you can watch that. All right, we're going to do another one of these, another one of the readings from... Okay, we're going to go to Natalie. This was asked last week and we didn't get to it, so I'm going to answer this today. I'd love to know what clairs I have and if they tie into how I can help people and make income. What a fun question, right? Like we've all got, or not, like not all of us, I guess, have businesses, but that's always like a fun thing. Like if you want to have a business and do things in alignment with who you are and your gifts. And good question. Okay, Natalie, let's take a look at this. Okay, I'm definitely seeing some of your clairs. It's like I'm seeing your eyes, but also your claircognizant. So there's some things that you see, but also things that you just know and understand. It's and in the order it looks like it comes in. It's almost like you're a questioner, or you want to learn. And so you look at something, then you ask a question, and then you get an answer or an insight kind of like boop, down into your head. So that's really a cool flow. Like see something, question, drop down. And then also the insights that are going to come out of your mouth are a little bit more important than you realize. So I'm seeing some of those questions and things that come out, and then I'm seeing you sharing it out of your mouth, and I'm seeing it also utilizing some of that heart energy. And so it's like, oh, here, let me help you. And you start to share some of your insights. You could even share some of your like encouraging words, or just whatever it is that you're sharing out of your mouth. It feels like it's very heart focused, and then it has some really great insights in it, and that you may have discounted in the past. So it's more important than you realize. So that's pretty cool. And then I'm also seeing I'm seeing some gifts coming through your arms and through your hands, and it makes me think that there's something that you can make or do, and then tie it in with whatever this throat and more like a message thing is. So something that you make and do, and it's connected with a message. I almost see, like, I don't know if you make custom order things, but that could be like, I'm going to make a custom order for a certain client, and and you can just almost take a minute before you complete the order. Maybe there's some kind of message you can attach to it, and it, just in the way that you can receive some of that information, you would just like be able to know what kind of message that person is looking for and how to help them the most, just because of that connection that you have there. So let me know how that goes. And I'm really curious if you already have something that you've thought of like this, or can you take some of what you have and add a little bit of that message and kind of put a little bit of a spin on it and see what can come from it. So that is really cool. I definitely see your creation abilities, not even just creation abilities, like your knowledge. Like you have some really powerful abilities to get and to receive that innate knowledge. It's just like divine knowledge. It just pops inside and understanding. So definitely lean into that. That is really cool. We had a question that this was asked in one of our groups, and I'm actually going to ask it here as well. Oh, actually, I'm going to go to Alicia. You just popped in. So I'll start with you, and then I'll also answer this other question, because I think it's kind of a fascinating one, and I wanted to verbally kind of go into it a little bit more, because it's a fun little learning thing. So Alicia, let's go to you. You mentioned I have a gift with animals, particularly dogs, but how do you see me using that gift? Okay, let me see. It's always kind of interesting too. Like sometimes when I get like, hey, what did you see with me the last time? I after I do these readings, I actually don't really remember too much of what I saw in a person, just because there's so much that I see and say. It doesn't really like, it's more like I'm just kind of sharing it as like an open thing. So let me just look to see even what that animal connection looks like, because I don't remember. Okay, let's see here. Do you have dogs? I'm just curious. Like, I don't even know. Do you like animals? Have you felt that connection to them? I don't necessarily know if you have to do anything with it. It almost just feels like something you could lean into. Like if you're having a hard day and you have a dog, like something like that, like it might help you. So it's kind of interesting. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go help them, as much as it could just be that it's just a connection there, and could be a very receiving type connection. And also, okay, there's something here about, I see it's not even just animals that you could have this connection with, but it's like, I see there's like, you've got this ability to lean into the simplicity and so animals can be very simple, and it's like I see the inside of you, like it just loves like simple communication. It's just pure, like pure intentions, pure hearts. And then just that simplicity of the language of like animals, and especially dogs, and especially a puppy. You just got a puppy like that. And they have a very pure heart. Like, it's just like, they just want to love you. Like, just love me and I love you. And it's just can be, and there's something about you just that loves that so much. That same type of thing within you could also be there for like babies. Okay. Newborn babies or little babies kind of have some of that same simplicity. It's not complicated. There's not human intentions that get chaotic or mean or anything like that. It's just so simple and pure. So I just see you really loving that type of energy. And so however you want to serve and show up, I can see that that would be one of the, in whatever place or whoever it is that you would connect to, that would be probably a favorite. But now that doesn't mean that you cannot serve others. It's just like, what I would use that for though is if you have to serve in there in ways that it's like dealing with a lot of chaos or a lot of heaviness, a lot of heavy topics, a lot of heavy emotions. Heck, just sometimes being a mom is like that. But if you're having to be called to any of those other areas, it's like you can, but then I would say the other energy is like a home base. So you want to come back to that. Like, okay, I had a chaotic, heavy day. Now I just want to come home and hold my puppy, let my, pet my dog or hold a baby or something that just bring you back into that centered, grounded, really simple, beautiful place. So, so let me know how that resonates. That's really cool. Because that also tells me that that's part of you. You also have that, like that little, very pure intentions, pure heart. Because if you didn't, it wouldn't be something that is like a home for you. So love that. And you probably will exude that more. All right. Well, okay. What I'm thinking, actually, this next question, I think I'm going to actually save it for tomorrow because I want to go in depth for like 5 minutes talking about it. So I'm going to just kind of do like a stay tuned for this other topic, which it is about auras. I mentioned seeing auras today, but let's talk about the type. That's a vague term that a lot of people use. So let's talk about what people mean when they talk about auras. I've identified 4 different ways people can talk about auras. So that'll be kind of a fun conversation thing tomorrow. And then if you have found value today, please consider sharing it and sending it forward. And then also, I'm going to put this up here as well. Like, you are welcome to send in a question ahead of time. You can also message our game or our page, or even email us. And don't forget to like the page or like our channel, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And then you can also be notified when we do go live every day. Just so in case you're like getting busy with your day and you just want a notification, make sure you like or subscribe. And I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for being here, everyone.